Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are here at Nashville Super Speedway for the Honda experience. They're cleaning off the track. We're going to be going on track, but of course, part of the experience is the debut of this vehicle. This is it. This is the totally redesigned 2023 Honda CR-V. But before we get into this growing compact SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. The CR-V is Honda's #1 best-selling vehicle. This is the 6th generation, all going back to 1997. The last time we had a redesign was in 2017. Now, of course, the competition has gotten fierce. You got the Hyundai Tucson, you got the totally redesigned Kia Sportage, the Nissan Rogue. I mean, the list goes on, and of course, that top-selling Mazda CX-5. What Honda decided to do is bring some of that special magic that they brought into the 11th Gen Civic, but also give this CR-V not only a new driving experience, but more passenger capacity and usability. So what I want to find out is, has Honda done enough for their bread and butter, their meat and potatoes, the CR-V, over the competition like the Mazda CX-5? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out with this radiant red CR-V. Right off the bat, what do you notice? You notice an all new shape. So from the A-pillar forward, we actually have more length. That gives it a more grown up look. And like I said, this is still a compact crossover SUV, but definitely getting a little bit larger. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna notice that there's gonna be different trims. The entry trim is EX. What we have is an EXL. Now, no matter if you go EX or EXL, or if you go with the hybrids, which is gonna be Sport and Sport Touring, we got full LED headlights. Love the way that they kind of squished the headlight housing down compared to the previous generation and then stretched it out. You got LED turn signals and LED daytime running lamps. A little bit of sprinkle chrome on the EXL trim, nice little brow going on. If you're comparing this to the Mazda CX-5, you are gonna, of course, get headlights that are LED, and they did a refresh and retweak the front. This, though, is a total redesign. Now, as we work our way down, you do have functional corner air curtains. We start to see the sparkle of that radiant red, just like a ruby. Little bit of flat black. Let me know what you think if they should have put fog lamps. There are no fog lamps on the EX and the EXL, but I am glad that this is a functional corner air curtain. Now, as we come across the wide new grille, so we got all new grille design, and if you look at the width of the vehicle, it does take some resemblance of the CX-5, but this CR-V is actually a little bit wider. You'll notice the gloss black, fully functional with that Honda badge in the center. No forward-facing camera on the EXL. If you want a forward-facing camera, you gotta go higher up, Sport or Sport Touring. That's gonna be the hybrid versions. This one has a good old internal combustion engine underneath the hood, but I like the extra width. I think one of the ways where it kind of, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. This part right here reminds me a little bit of a CX-5, but I'm digging it on this new CR-V. Now, on the lower side, very smart to have flat black all the way across, of course, full functionality as well, and I'm glad that they did the basic same shape of the grille, both top and bottom. But you can see that extra width that's gonna give us extra room inside. Now, when we get up onto the low slung hood, that chrome brow is very visible from headlight housing to headlight housing. You're just gonna have a simple design, just kind of rises up, goes almost to the A-pillar. What you'll notice is it kind of curves back around and comes into the front here. I'm actually digging the style, whereas with the CX-5, it's a little bit more of a rounded shape. But like I said, A-pillar forward, you got more length. Now, as we come around the bend, what do we work with wheel and tire setup? When you go EXL trim, what you're looking at are these 18-inch wheels. A little basic in their style, but you know what? The multi-spoke design with the metallic silver gives it a nice pop against the radiant red. I think if you're looking at the CX-5s, they have a little bit more artistic design in their wheels to kind of spruce them up. But like I said, if you want a fancier wheel, you could go Sport and Sport Touring, and that will give you a 19-inch wheel. Now, you do have flat black, just like the CX-5. Let me know what you think about it. I think they did a good job just using it modestly and not having it go too high up into the fender. Of course, they reworked all the suspension. The chassis has been just really made more rigid to not only give you a better driving experience, but also a quieter experience on the interior while you're driving down the road. But let's continue down the side. You got color match on your mirror caps. Love the way they made the LED turn signals really, really small, nice and slim. You do have bright, shiny metalwork, top and bottom, around the window treatments. No roof rails from the factory. You can get, of course, your roof rails and your crossbars, but you do have a sunroof, which is really nice. Standard size sunroof on the EXL. I even like the way they worked the lower portion of the door, especially how they brought the door down and then you have that flat black sill. That'll take a better beating over time. Keep working our way towards the rear. Very, very familiar looking rear quarter window. I like the way they kind of blended some of the design from the different generations into the rear quarter window. They flared out that chrome trim just a bit. And then coming around the back, this has been a signature design of CR-V since day one, are the elongated vertical taillights. Now what you'll notice is that the brake lights are LED, the zonk is the turn signals are not LED. So that to me is a missed opportunity, whereas if you go Mazda CX-5, you're gonna get those LED turn signals. But I love the way they did the design on the inner portion of the lighting. And then you'll notice that nice low roof spoiler extends off. I don't know how I feel about the flat black up top. I feel like this should be all color matched. So I'm gonna zonk it, but let me know what you think about the flat black on the trail end of the roof spoiler. Of course, we have that wiper, which it would be nice if they tucked it in because you got plenty of room there. And then this one has all-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive has been reworked. Previous generation, it was stuck 60% up front, 40% of the rear. This new updated all-wheel drive can do a split 50-50 on the power distribution. Speaking of distribution, let's drop down to the bottom level. CR-V badge, looking tasteful. On the other side, everything is clean. I really, really am glad they didn't put badges and letters. And that's one of the things with the CX-5. They put that Sky Active badge. They put all these different badges. Nice to keep it clean. Lower bumper, same thing. Looks very sleek, flat black. Just get rid of this thing. This hexagonal little fake vent, that's another area I'm gonna zonk. And they did a pretty decent job. Here's your exhaust outlet. You actually have one on both sides. They did a pretty good job keeping it tucked in. It would have been nice on the EXL if they would have had some type of exhaust finisher. To get an exhaust finisher, you gotta step up to Sport and Sport Touring. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower numbers and see what this CR-V can do. All right guys, we got the hood pop. Now we are gonna be driving this. Embargo lifts August 30th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Stay tuned for that, but we're gonna continue this one because we have more to show you, especially comparing to the CX-5. Underneath the hood, you do have hydraulic hood struts. So compared to the CX-5, CX-5 still has a prop rod, no matter which way you trim it. This one, they decided to go with the hydraulic hood struts. Underneath the hood, there is that familiar face. What do we got? We got that 1.5 liter turbocharged inline four, no engine cover, so you could see those coil packs right up top and everything else is exposed. Not like too many people are gonna be popping the hood on their CR-V at a local Cars and Coffee event, but we got 190 horsepower, 179 pound-feet of torque. What Honda is saying is that there's a new turbocharger. We do now have hill descent control, 3 different modes, and the CVT has been revamped with a step shift system. That all-wheel drive, like I pointed out, could do 60-40 or 50-50. The vehicle weighs 3,337 pounds around. MPG official numbers have not been released yet, but if you use the previous generation, expect to have pretty close to 28 in the city, 34 on the highway. But like I said, the official numbers have not been released yet. That is yet to come. What I do like is the way they kept the options simple. You have your EX and your EXL if you want to go internal combustion engine. If you want some electrification and go hybrid, then you go Sport Touring. If we're comparing this to the CX-5, CX-5 has a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter that produces 187 horsepower. Remember, this has 190, but it's got a turbo. If you go turbo CX-5, you're looking at 250 horsepower. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this CX-5 and hear if it makes any noise. All right, guys, come on in. We're in the 2023 totally redesigned CR-V, this being the EXL trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I had a CR-V back in college. It was a hand-me-down from my grandmother. I got kids. I need space. They're playing soccer and football. I'm liking this CR-V, but what's the price? I know you want to know what the MSRP is. Right now, pricing is not officially available yet, but we will be bringing it to you very soon. Tune in August 30th when you watch our full review at 9 a.m. Now, comparing it to the CX-5, it's a tall order because the CX-5 brings some really nice touches to the interior, but let's see how the CR-V stacks up to the door panels. I love the way they did the style. So you got soft touch material up top. In the center, there is gloss black, but the great news is that almost like golf ball textured gloss black isn't going to show a ton of fingerprints. The better news is around the window switch gear, it's all flat black. That's where you're going to be putting your fingers most of the time. Now, this one has the cream colored interior, gives a nice pop of color. I'm sure there will be darker colors as well. Good sized door pocket. You could easily get a Music Town special rib sandwich from Nashville in that pocket and a large bottle of sarsaparilla to wash it down. It even has the CR-V name in case you forgot what SUV you just bought. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, we see some influence from the 11th generation Civic, and that's not a bad thing. Love the way they did the wire mesh. The gloss black is looking great, nothing too heavy, more of that golf ball. I wonder if Tiger Woods, they questioned him about the texture material to make sure they got it right, just like a golf ball. And then what do we got in the center stack? That is that 9-inch infotainment system. It is a floating, standing iPad style. Let me know what you feel about that. But it is your familiar, traditional setup. You got your smart shortcuts you can set up. You can move around all of the different icons exactly the way that you want it. And of course, it is a touchscreen, and we do have a volume knob. Throw it into reverse. It does take up almost all 9 inches. Resolution could be just a little bit better, but you can change the angles, especially if somebody's laying on the ground. You don't want to run them over in your CR-V. You could take a look at that camera angle and put it right back in the park. We got our great looking AC controls, just like on the 11th generation Civic, dual climate. You do get 3 stages of heated seats, but here in hot Nashville, I was hoping for some ventilated seats, especially with this being basically a upper mid-grade trim, but no ventilated seats. What else do we got though? We got a USB-C, USB-A, and you do have a 12 volt. So you can listen to your full Nashville 100 favorite music artist list, and you don't have to worry about your phone dying, and it's plugged in. We got wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You do have a wireless charging pad, which is a nice touch. 2 Nashville Twinkies. What's a Nashville Twinkie? That's where you get a Twinkie with a little bit of extra sour cream on the interior. This is going to control that updated select to shift CVT, like the material that they put. We got a drive mode selector switch, and you got hill descent control for the first time on the all-wheel drives. How do you do sport? Sport is just by going in the S. I know S, you might think that's super, but it's for sport. 2 cup holders, and then of course we got the updated, upgraded Honda key fob. Small and simple, it's not gonna poke you in the family jewels, and you got remote start. We got another place for a couple of your old mixtapes, your cassette tapes from high school with all your favorite music recording artists. Love the soft, this is like Charmin soft. I'm digging that with the stitching. Open it up. What do we got? We got this little tiny party tray. You could put your buffalo nickels, maybe some of your silver dollars, and then we got enough room in there, I would probably say, for the whole Beatles volume. So when the Beatles came to Nashville back in 1967 and rocked out like it was 1999, you could actually put that whole complete music set on CD in that compartment. That's 34 CDs. That's what I'm talking about. And the cases. Seats, super soft, just like the armrest. Love the perforated material. Love the way it's got nice bolstering, but nothing too crazy. Full electric assist for the passenger. Of course, I got electric assist for the driver. And I got more room in here than any CRV I've ever been in, because this is a larger CRV. Standard size sunroof. I wish panoramic sunroof was an option, but why don't you get your butt over here? I got a leather wrapped steering wheel with the mighty H on it. I want to show you. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. There are my seat controls, easy to get to, including that lower lumbar, which is great. Seat cushion material, superb. Steering wheel, they always do a great steering wheel on Hondas. Nice thickness, no gloss black on the buttons, just a little bit sprinkling of gloss black, and I like the aluminum finish. This is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. That's where the control is. And then your dash is a mixed bag. You got that 7-inch digital display on the left with the tachometer that you could actually change to different readouts and information. And then on the right, you have an analog speedometer. You do have your different modes. I will show you that when we do the driving impression. That makes sense to do it then. But what really makes sense is let's compare this to the CX-5 when it comes to rear passenger volume in our CRV. Seat time, guys, and this is where it's all gonna come together. Your passengers are gonna buy you the nicest Christmas and birthday gifts ever because of the amount of room that you're bringing to them back in the back seat area. Now, the back of the passenger seat does not have a pocket when you're sitting behind the driver. So that to me is a zonk. You do have AC vents. The bigger problem is this right here. They show you where USBs could be, but you don't get any USBs back here. They don't even give you 2 Honda cans and a piece of string to communicate with anybody. So that to me is probably the biggest zonk. I have my own pocket here, so I could actually keep a couple records, maybe some Patsy Cline, maybe some Johnny Cash, when they used to rock out in downtown Nashville and just make the crowd go crazy. But I am liking the maximized room in here. And then another thing that's great is that the seats, the rear seats, are actually 8-way positionable. The only problem is you got to use that little latch, which is a little cumbersome to get to, as you can see, because it's not on the side. Pull this guy down, Charmin soft on the armrest, 2 cup holders, but you know what? It's not just about hauling the people, it's about hauling your junk. Let's get into the cargo area and see how much room there is in the new CRV. All right, guys, cargo area time. Now, comparing this to the CX-5, you might be a little surprised. Another thing that's surprising, this is the quickest, quietest opening tailgate in CRV history. You just saw a little piece of history right there. What do we got? Because this CRV grew a little bit width and height-wise, you could see all that extra space that we have. On both sides, you have nooks. Now, on the driver's side, you have a nook for a box of racetrack Twinkies. Since we're at the racetrack, you got your 12-volt right here. Close it up. And then on the passenger side, same story. You get another nook for another box of Twinkies, and you got that LED lighting, which is a nice extra touch. With the seats up, you're looking at 36.3 cubic feet of space. Fold the seats down, it maximizes out at 76.5 cubic feet of space. Now let me show you a little magic trick that the engineers and designers did. Let's say you went to Costco and you had that big barrel of sauerkraut for your hot dog eating competition that you have around the holidays, right around Christmas, and it won't fit. Watch this. Don't return the sauerkraut. I just got you extra height all by just dropping the cargo floor, and that makes it easy peasy. The one thing that doesn't make it easy peasy is folding down the seats. I actually have to come all the way over to the side. You got your nice little handle right here. We're gonna flip it down. Now I gotta run to the other side. Don't start eating that sauerkraut yet. And then now you can see where we're at with the seats. And you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, what about that step system? I'm not liking that. let's say you don't have the sauerkraut. Let's say you have your case of hot dogs and you don't need the extra height. Here's what you're working with, like that. So there is still gonna be a differentiation on the actual height of where the seats are and where the cargo floor is, but you do have way more room. But why don't we go ahead? I know you wanna go on throttle with me. I know you wanna see how this CR-V drives. Stay tuned, August 30th, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Tune in, you're gonna get it all with a separate second review. But we're here at the Super Speedway. They're about to have a Jimmy Johnson autograph contest where you have to eat a big, huge piece of pumpkin pie. I wanna get in line, so we gotta wrap this one up from Nashville Super Speedway. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day here at Nashville Super Speedway, track right behind us. I definitely wanna thank the whole Honda team for getting us access to this totally redesigned CR-V EX-L trim. Now remember, August 30th, tune in, set your alarm, set a reminder, tell a friend to remind you, put a rubber band around your wrist, just don't make it too tight. At 9 a.m. Eastern time, I wanna see you here on Raiti's Rides, watching the full drive, totally separate review, full driving of this vehicle. But let me know what you think. Has Honda done enough with their bread and butter to really make it a standout against the CX-5, or is there a little bit more that needs to happen? Let me know in the comment section, but they're getting ready to bring out the trucks and close shop here. So if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. We definitely got to thank the muscle behind the lens, working it no matter what's going on commotion-wise. Lori working that camera like a champ. Show us some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.